Most people think the military is just the rat race with a haircut. Same grind, different uniform. Wake up, show up, take orders, get paid twice a month and repeat. And if you only look at schedules and formation, you might believe that. But the truth is, the military is not just a job. It is a lever. It is a machine that, if you understand the controls, turns a fixed paycheck into freedom. The rat race trades your life for a salary that dies on payday. Leverage turns your time in uniform into assets that keep paying you long after you hang the uniform up. That is how I escaped the 9 to 5. Not with luck, not with viral moments, with a literacy, with a system, with boring habits that made glamorous outcomes. And I want to show you exactly how I did it so you can do it too sooner and with less stress than I had. On this channel, I show you how 3 years can buy you a lifetime bag. Let's call the rat race what it is. It is predictable poverty dressed up as respectability. Commute, cubicle, cafeteria, clock. You run harder to earn a little more, then spend a little more and end up in the exact same place, just with nicer receipts. You feel busy, but not alive. You feel tired, but not accomplished. You live for Friday, dread Sunday night, and numb yourself Monday through Thursday. And somewhere in there, the dream you had when you were younger get traded for something realistic. That was my future if I didn't find a lever. What the army gave me was not just a salary. It was a way to make that salary irrelevant. It gave me a floor so firm that every extra dollar could go build a ladder. Here's the framework I use. Floor, housing, skills, stack, purpose. The floor is your non-negotiable stability, emergency cash, healthcare, and disability. Housing is your biggest expense. Hack it or it will hack you. Skills are your earning engine, certs, degrees, tools that command market rates. Stack is where you automate investing, build assets, and stop living only on active labor. Purpose is what keeps you from drifting once the money stress fades. Without purpose, money gets wasted. With purpose, money gets multiplied. Start with the floor. The quickest way to stay trapped is to let every surprise become an emergency. I use my time in uniform to build a real emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of essentials, by treating BAH like a business owner and keeping my lifestyle lean. I documented everything that service cost me: knees, back, sleep, hearing, because I refuse to let pride steal my future. Feeling properly means that when I took off the uniform, I didn't take off my floor. I had tax-free income for life compensating what service cost me. I was not rich. I was stable. Stability is underrated in a world obsessed with flex. Stability meant I could say no. Stability meant I could be patient. Stability meant I could take a lower paying job but higher upside role because the lights were staying on either way. Next, housing. If you don't solve housing, housing will solve you. Civilians donate 40 to 50% of their monthly energy to landlord. That is why they cannot invest. There is nothing left. In uniform, I learned to keep shelter under 30% of my inflows. If your path allows the VA loan, it is the strongest mortgage in America. 0 down, no PMI, funding fee waiver with a disability rating. House hacking, a duplex or rooms in a single family can turn shelter from a cost into a neutral line item or even a small profit. If your values lead you away from interest-bearing debt, mine do, you can still rent hack. Sign the lease, add roommates legally, and turn the difference into fuel for skills and assets. Either way, the rule is the same. You don't carry housing alone if you want out of the race quickly. Then skills. Escaping the rat race is not about working harder at the wrong things. It is about becoming valuable for the right things. I picked lanes where the market was already hungry. IT support to networking, to cloud, to software engineering, basic certification to advanced roles, project management for people who can lead chaos into order, healthcare where discipline meets demand, trades where tools print over time. I use the GI Bill and the VRE not as trophies but as fuel, paid study time that ended in job offers. A single certification can move your pay by 10 to 30K. Stack a few and you price yourself out of low respect, low control jobs forever. Now, the stack. The difference between a salary and wealth is simple. A salary fits today. A stack fit forever. Once the floor was set and housing was sane, I automated investing. If I had earned income, I push dollars into a Roth IRA. If not, I use a taxable brokerage with broad market index fund and dollar cost average that run whether I feel confident or not. If covered by an HDHP, I funded an HSA for the trip tax advantage. I didn't chase magic picks. I chased time in the market, not timing the market. I kept cash for emergencies, not because cash is exciting, but because cash prevents dumb, expensive decisions. That is how you stop resetting to zero every time life throws a punch. Finally, purpose. The rat race sells you the lie that the point of life is weekends and vacations. Freedom says the point is contribution. Money without a mission turns into junk, arguments, and regret. So I wrote down what mattered: faith, family, building for the next generation, helping others learn the system I had to piece together alone. That purpose kept me from wasting the gains the moment stress disappeared. It kept me from burning status and calling it success. It made me enough a real world again. Let me get tactical here, because theory won't buy your time back. Here's the 90-day escape sprint you can run starting next payday. Day 1 to 7, list your monthly essentials and cut every subscription or expense that does not serve your mission. Open a separate account and automate 20% of every inflow into it. Don't trust your willpower. Trust your automation. Day 8 to 14, pick your post-service lane. Circle 1, IT or help desk, to network, to cloud, to software engineering, healthcare tech, skill trade, logistics, PM. Then find the exact certification or program that yields offer. Day 15 to 21. Choose your housing strategy. If you will use the VA loan later, learn house hack math now. If you want, design a roommate rent hack and start screening candidates. Day 22 to 28. Book medical appointments. Document everything for claims. Today's paperwork is tomorrow's peace. Days 29 to 45. Enroll for the credential. Get the schedule on your calendar. Set weekly study blocks like their formation. Days 46 to 60. Open a brokerage. Set your auto invest amount. Ignore market noise. Read one book on money you can actually finish. The Simple Path to Wealth, for instance, or I Will Teach You to Be Rich. Not for hot tips, but for mindset. Day 61 to 75. Build one-page resume for your chosen lane. Run 2 mock-up interviews with a friend. Fish your LinkedIn headline to one clean sentence employers understand. Days 76 to 90. Apply to 5 roles a week at least, or line up the apprenticeship. Measure outputs, application, interviews, exam, not feelings. At day 90, sit with your numbers and decide the next 90-day sprint. Momentum beats motivation. Let's talk about temptation, because that is where most people lose the plot. The car note with the big badge, the luxury apartment with the view, the vacations you cannot afford yet, the business with no customer that is really just an excuse to spend. I'm not here to shame anyone. I'm here to remind you of math. Every 600 car payment is a few $100,000 less in your future. Every $400 lifestyle subscription bundle is a house you won't buy or a business you won't fund. Delay is not denial. It is compounding. Let your future self be the one who flexes. Your present self needs to build. Let's also address the 2-track housing question clearly. If you are comfortable with financing, the VA loan is an unfair advantage. Use it with discipline. Keep payments under 30% of inflows. Choose properties that can be room rented or unit rented and aim for neutral or positive cash flow after moving. If you are like me and avoid interest-based loan, don't excuse yourself from the housing strategy. Rent small and smart. Put roommates on paper. Charge below market for zero drama, and funnel the spread into certification, tools, and investment. Housing is a lever either way. Don't pretend it is just a bill. What about burnout? I won't lie. Escaping takes a season of double duty. You will work, then study. You will budget, then say no to things you want. You will train your body because a healthy mind lives there. You will sleep when others scroll. But burnout comes from effort without meaning. When you have a plan, you choose a path you believe in. Your energy returns. Track progress weekly. Celebrate small wins. Put your why in writing on a paper and read it when you are tempted to quit. Quitting does not make the rat race kinder. It just makes it permanent. Here's a picture I never forget. A co-worker in my civilian role smiled, working hard, told me he couldn't take a better job across town because he couldn't risk a 2-week gap in pay. He had no flaw. He was a good man in a bad system with no margin. That is what the military gave me, margin. I could negotiate without fear. I could negotiate job without fear. I could turn down toxic roles. I could learn slowly and still pay bills. That is not courage. That is structure. Structure you can build if you run this play with discipline. If you want a single sentence that sums up how I escaped, I used the army to make survival automatic so I could spend all my focus building assets. Everything else is details. The uniform gave me routine. I gave that routine purpose. The benefit gave me money. I gave that money a job. The system gave me stability. I used that stability to exit the system. That is the loop. The rat race tells you work hard and hope. Freedom says work smart and compound. The rat race wants you busy. Freedom wants you precise. The rat race sells status. Freedom sells peace. I choose peace. You can too. It won't happen overnight, and the internet will always make it look like it should. But you don't need overnight. You need obedience to boring steps that everyone else is too distracted to take. If you are still in uniform, start now. If you are out and feel behind, start now. If you didn't join yet, keep that in mind. One contract done right can change your next 50 years, not because the army is perfect, because the system used correctly buys time. And when a focused person gets time, they build. If no one ever said that to you, I'm saying it now. Drop a comment if you have any question and I will answer them. Thank you for watching till the end. Peace. I'm gone.